Hey YouTube, this is Fleur Room coming to you today again, and my topic of discussion is: are the reptilians really getting a bad rap? Are we blaming reptilians for doing things that other ETs are in fact doing and controlling? Let's get into it. First of all, to my knowledge, the reptilians have been blanketed as this negative, overly aggressive group of ETs that have taken over the planet. They're shape-shifting all over the place. Notice I said shape-shifting. They're shape-shifting all over the place. They're hiding, they're cloaking themselves. David Icke is making tons of videos and podcasts based on the reptilian agenda. We have tons of videos on the dismay and the chaos that supposedly reptilians are creating upon our planet. Is it really our planet, though? I've come to find out there's something a little different occurring here. My opinion, and I'm finding this out, is that reptilians are getting a bad rap. They're getting blamed for a lot of things that I know that other ETs are partaking in, and it almost seems like, when David Icke came out about the reptilians, they thought he was batty, right, at the beginning. And he was discussing this. I think David Icke has been discussing this for almost close to over 20 years, if I believe. I'm not quite sure. That's my estimation. It's over 20 years. I know he's been uncovering a lot about what he considers to be the reptilian agenda. What about the insectoids? What's their agenda? What about the Andromedans? What's their agenda? What about the Palladians? What's their agenda? I know that every ET group that has come here, that has incepted itself on our planet and within our mix of people, has had an agenda of some sort. So why are we only having so much why do we have so much disdain and so much aggression and so much dislike for the reptilian? I'm coming to find out that many of us melanated people are actually, our ancestry comes from the Anunnaki, which are reptilians, which are melanated, negroid reptilians that came here, and they were the originals that came here to seed the earth with part of their DNA, and they mixed it with a group of melanated, negroid looking entities that were living on the surface of the planet, which were copper people, brown people, black people, red people, that were original people that were living on the planet. And they mixed their DNA with that. And we talked about that previously because we knew that they mixed their DNA with those people to create a race of people that would be able to assist them to mine gold. And I say assistance because I'm sure it wasn't to an agreement, so to speak, outwardly. They're scientists and they're genetic scientists, and they're able to splice and dice genomes and mix DNA together, just like many of the other races of ETs. We've come to find out that the Palladians, who are a group of non-melanated ETs that are mostly blonde hair, blue eye, that is their primary disposition as far as on the surface, they have been here, and what we note to be some of their agenda is mixing with their genomes with non-melanated people, particularly Eurocentric Europeans. And their agenda was to make sure that their people were doing well and were able to maintain some control on the planet. We found that out. The Andromedans, however, are... I don't want to speak too much on the Andromedans. I know that they're a mix of people, a mix of ETs. They're not just what we would consider one particular looking race. They're of many. They can look very Asiatic, they can look Negroid, they can look European, they're mixed, but they do have some some relationship to the Palladians. And as I've had another video, the Palladians' agenda was based on white supremacy, which was really not white supremacy. It was a domination of their genome, which obviously is an anti to the natural genome of the species of reptilians that many of the melanated people are mixed with. And then we get the insectoids. So all I'm saying is that every single one of these alien races that we are coming to find out about, that some of us, many of us are mixed with, we're hybrids, so we're mixed with many. Some of us are mixed with a couple of different types of ETs mixed together. Generally, they like to keep their genomes separated from the others, but I've heard of some of the contactees talking about hybrids that are mixed with some of the different ETs together. Some Dracos mixed with some Palladian bloodlines, and vice versa with other of the different ETs. But I think there is a conspiracy going on with demonizing the reptilians, which I know are my ancestors. Why are we demonizing them? Why is David Icke allowed to go on and on about the reptilian agenda, and the royals don't seem to be batting an eye at him? No one's going after him. I know that he's had a couple of incidences, don't get me wrong, because a lot of the whistleblowers do have things that go on, and they have had difficulties based on them coming out with some of the truth. I believe he's telling some of the truth, but by far, I believe that some of the things that he's saying is to mislead some of the people and make them have a natural disgust for reptilians, which I come to find out are us. Just like the ringmakers of Saturn. We know for a fact now, based on the accounts. I will add all the videos below so we don't have to get on debates and anything about the ringmakers of Saturn and the occupants of Saturn, especially around the atmosphere of Saturn and on the planet, are highly melanated, black, deep, dark, black, beautiful, black matter ETs living on Saturn. And we know that the Jewish people worship Saturn, and they consider Saturn to be Satan. But isn't it kind of funny that they consider Saturn to be Satan, and that there's such a disdain for brown and black people, and that many people consider brown and black people at one point on this planet, not too many years ago, to be not human, not of the same species as them? I don't think they were incorrect in believing that melanated, brown, copper, black people, Negroids, are not of the same species. I believe that they were correct. I believe that we were the brethren and the sisters, sea stars, of the galactic families on Saturn and on Nibiru. The Anunnaki are the occupants on Nibiru, and we know that the Anunnaki are related to the same ETs that are the ringmakers of Saturn. And it is amazing that they have demonized the Anunnaki. They have demonized Saturn, making it seem like it's Satan, 666, talking about the beast being 666, but we know that 666 is carbon. That is the component, that is the molecular structure of carbon. And who are the people who have a lot of carbon? People who have color. Do you see what I'm saying? You're connecting the dots. I think the demonization of the reptiles is another agenda of the white supremacy agenda of what some of the ETs were carrying out that were non-melanated, which is just primarily all I know for this point was definitely the Palladians. And there is a form of Dracos that also is another, but they are reptilian. They have some sort of riff going on with the with the Anunnaki, but they are of the same species. Remember, we were talking about different species, even though they can be from the same species. Like, all of us are, some of us are human beings. I was going to say all of us. You know, we got clones walking around. We got iBots. We've got, you know, ETs dressed in skins that look like human beings, and then they pull it off. You know, a movie that details that, which is insane to me because I really, really, really thought this movie was creepy. I didn't, Scarlett Johansson played in this movie called Under the Skin. Oh, it's a creepy movie. It bugs me out because in the movie it's like dark, dim. I think it takes place in Scotland. I know it's in Europe, but don't get me wrong. If you watch the movie, you'll see. I'm not going to tell you, but watch it to the end if you can muster it. It's really just a creepy movie. There's nothing enlightening about watching it. It's just creepy, but you'll see. And as you'll see, that there's certain entities living on this planet, wearing what I used to think was hazmat suits. No, they're human suits that are walking around that are ETs. Okay? So not all of us are human. We have a whole plethora of people living on this planet, and we don't know quite what they are. But I'm finding the PR, the blaspheming, the blasphemy, the propaganda, the negative propaganda against the melanated ETs, the Anunnaki and the reptilians, I feel is some sort of agenda, negative agenda to demonize them. And I believe if the royals and all these higher ups were the reptilians, David Icke would not be able to speak about this. I know that whatever's going on is to take us off of the right trail and turn our heads. It's like, look that way, look that way, look that way. And then you look that way and someone like smacks you. They don't want you to see in the right direction. That's why they keep leading us. The reptilians are evil. The reptilians are wrong. The reptilians are that. That's BS. I don't believe that. I believe the reptilians are us. Many of us are the reptilians. And I believe they're saying that to distract us from some insectoids that are controlling the planet. Yes, insectoids. I think that those ETs that are at the top tiers are very well not reptilians. I know some of those. I won't say all, because remember, we have a lot of different ETs on this planet and we can't identify them all. We're just finding out more and more about a few of them, and I'll start making videos based on the different types of ETs and what we're finding out. But the contactees that I've come in contact with have verified the fact that we have ETs on the top that are cloaking themselves, that are not reptilians. They are insectoids. They're hive-like. They're something different. Their agenda is totally different. And the David Icke agenda is something different. He is telling us some of the truth. All those things that are occurring, all those heinous acts, absolutely they're occurring. Absolutely. The taking of children and harming families, that is occurring. The eating, the Baphomet parties and all that stuff. What is it that something Grove? What is it? I'll remember it. When they go to the Grove, all these political figures. I'll remember it. Baby on the brain. Anyway, they go to this place and they engage in all these rituals and so on. That is true. All that is true. We know that to be true. But what is he misleading us? Why is he leading us in a direction and there's no repercussion to him? We know for a fact that every single whistleblower that was on to the truth has been offed, ostracized, demonized, and so on. Not to say David Icke wasn't. He did have a lot. See, this is where we have to be careful. There were some things going on with David Icke that came along with him coming out with some of the truth. They did come against him. But he has a platform now that is untouched. And that is for a reason. Because what he is stating is true, but who he's stating doing it is incorrect. I'm coming to believe that it is not the reptilians that have been ruling over us for the last 500 years. It is a group of insectoids that has been cloaking themselves and have been overseeing. That's why, what do we call the queen? Who has queens? Hives, right? In every bug or insect group, you have a queen. Why do we have queens in Europe? Queens and kings, okay? Where's that coming from? That's a hive-like mentality. It's an insect type of system. Where's it coming from? Okay? The female is always the queen. And if you notice, who's the head queen in England right now? Okay? So, ooh, I saw a flash, and when you start coming out with the truth, you got to be careful, because you start seeing all kinds of madness happening. I just saw a flash, but it's probably just a reflection off of my outside window. Anyway, so come on, people, what's going on? I want this discussion to happen. The reptilians are getting a bad rap based on what the insectoids have been doing all these years. Open your eyes and start to see and start to listen and see all this demonizing of all the ETs that have to do with the melanated people. We know that the Naga serpent is a melanated reptilian. We know that the dragons that the Asian countries tend to worship is also melanated. The Asians are part of the Sirius star system too. They come from the Sirius star system too. So that's why the Asiatic black man that resided in the Americas prior to slavery, because they're making it seem like they got those Africans got all black people from Africa. That is a lie, but we don't want to get into that in this video. There were way less people shipped over here. There were a group of melanated black, Asiatic black people residing here, Negroids residing in the Americas prior to inception. That, the history books won't tell you, but the real history books, the real archive ones, have pictures of who was residing here. And they look very much like me. Booyah. Anyway, those entities are mixed with each other. That's why the Asiatic and the black people have such close genomes. When they mix together, generally the children hold the same melanated complexion. That's just something that happens. But let's just get back to the different species we're talking about. I am calling out the insectoids. The insectoids have been, now, mind you, now Nibiru is coming into our frame of around closer to our planet. The Anunnaki are here, assisting with the shift and making everything wrong, right? They were not here during the time of slavery, during all of the heinous behavior towards the people of color. They were not here. They are here now. So all that is wrong, all that has been unjustly done to everyone. Because the one thing about the Anunnaki, they don't have any racist agenda. The Anunnaki are us, but they actually created everyone, every race of people. So they don't have that agenda as to hurting or harming any European people, any Asian people, any black people. They actually want more of a cohesive earth, a much more conscious earth with entities that are in alignment with Mother Earth. Okay, so for those who think the Anunnaki are coming here to cause harm, I have a totally different opinion. I know that they are here to make all that has been totally turned upside down right. And I know that they're here. I know that they're also in Yemen. I know that they're in South Africa. So much is happening on this earth to make sure that there is balance again. And we are all going to have to make an effort to become one again and really bring humanity back to more of a balanced state of consciousness. Okay? So when I bring up races, it's just matter of fact, because we know, first of all, you know that many of us, if you believe in reincarnation, we have been every race. So you know that me stating something that one particular race or another race has a home court advantage right now means absolutely nothing. We've been everything, and we've had some of us who are people of color have been in positions where we were not people of color, and we've had home court advantage. And that was just the case for the last couple hundred years, is that the European has had home court advantage, just because there were a group of ETs, Palladians, who were able to run their agenda without the interference of the Anunnaki. But that no longer can be. The Anunnaki are back, and the Palladians are off running, scared right now, because they know that what they've done is caused an imbalance, and they've created havoc to the people of color on this planet. So, booyah. We are all going to have to get along, and we're all going to have to be one. And I do not support anybody who says yay or nay to anyone. We should, listen, the Palladians, to their hybrids and to their people, they can be the most beautiful people, and I have no problem with that. Just like to the Anunnaki, their offspring and their hybrids can be the wonderful, beautiful people. Now, where we take issue, a lot of us, is that we hear of the heinousness that a lot of these ETs do as far as like consuming of flesh and so on. But for those of you guys who still consume, like I've equated, if you're still consuming flesh and eating cows, baby cows and chickens and all of those other wonderful souls, and you consider that to be okay, then you have to on a higher level be understand that that is going to be universally okay for other entities that are higher than us on the food chain to do that to you and yours. If you don't agree with it, don't partake in it. You know, respect all those other souls that are residing here. And for all of you, I know I have a very Christian. I don't know. There's a lot of Christian base on my videos, but a lot of you, if you are very God loving and believe in loving and being respectful and honoring God, so to speak, then you should also be partaking in some of the original doctrines that stated that you should be eating from the vine. Every herb was for you. So why engage in eating flesh when it's not a necessity on our planet anymore? You know, if you're not eating meat, then you don't have to. There's so many alternatives. Anyway, I don't want to get on that. So anyway, the reptilians aren't all that bad, guys. I'm a reptilian. I've claimed my genetic hybrid state of being. I'm probably mixed with a lot of other things, possibly. But I know to be that many of the melanated Negroid people are mixed with the reptilians. And that is why that when they speak out against reptilians, it's really speaking out against a race of people that are also residing on the planet. Now, all those shapeshifters and stuff like that, I think they are other entities, but all those crazy, like I saw a video, I'm going to show it to you. It's like a video about I've seen shapeshifting, and they have some sort of chemical crystallites thing on them that makes their skin look kind of like, almost like a leopard. I think that some of these entities that we're seeing uncloaking themselves when we get a glimpse of them shape-shifting are insectoids, different types of insects. Now, I like insects, mind you. You know, I'm a tree hugger. I love everything, and I try to make sure that I respect all life. That is the perspective that I'm choosing to live while I'm residing on Mother Earth. But if we have a group of entities that are also cloaking themselves, that are letting the reptilians take the fall guy, I'm calling them out. I think it's insectoids that we're seeing a lot of times. I think sometimes we see reptiles. That's when we're seeing the eyes. And some of the videos, you guys say that my eyes might be shifting too. Big up to you for seeing that. I don't necessarily see it, but probably. Because if I'm claiming my reptilian hybrid state of being, chances are you're going to see that happen with me. I think they say something like, for those who don't know that they're reptiles, so to speak, or have a lot of reptilian in them, the left eye has a tendency to shift without unbeknownst to them. So you guys should try to look at yourself in a mirror in weird lighting to see if your eyes shift. I'm joking, I don't know. But that's what I heard. I heard that left eye tends to have a hard time holding its form if you're a hybrid of the reptilian. So let's have this discussion. Do you know that the reptilians have gotten a bad rap and that there's another group of ETs allowing that to happen so that they can hide and be covert and do all their dirt without getting the credit for it, so that you and I would go on all these voyages searching for criminals? Really, it's another entity. Anyway, I know I made this video long. And a shout out to all my supporters. Thank you so much. You guys are great. I love the conversations that you are engaged in. Some of you get a little nasty in there, and I would just like to say this is a wonderful, healthy platform, and I will only allow positive or good conversation that's fair and balanced on down below. Okay, there's no need to attack someone for their race or their belief. I believe his Hebrew Israelite is getting attacked because of his belief. Listen, if he believes that the original Hebrews is black, leave him alone. If you believe that they're white, leave him alone. It's probably a combination of two that are correct. I think there's no reason to attack or to try to convert the other ones to anything. So just leave for healthy conversations. Really, our conversation should be based on ETs or not. reptilians or insectoids, Pleiadians or Andromedans. I mean, let's keep it on the topic. I love that you guys have conversations. It's great, but if you get really nasty and you attack some of my subscribers, I'm going to have to take it seriously, and I'm going to have to block you. And I'll block you everywhere you go. And then I'll call for the ancestors to come and get you if you don't leave them alone and you threaten them. Okay? I'm serious. I got that kind of pull. Anyway, as you know, I'm fasting, so I'm a little more talkative, which some of you say I chatter a lot. But listen, I broke the code. I was able to see reptilians in their eyes, and it has only gotten much more graphic. I'm able to see some of the form. They tend to be a little bigger and taller when you do get to see more of them. As you break the code, which you've seen in my other video, breaking the code to see reptilians, you start to note that as you break it, their bodies seem to morph into something a little wider, more girth, and rather than just the eyes. So you do begin to see them. And breaking the code with the reptilians, I'm going to break the code with the others, which I've not done. So that's probably a little, it's going to be interesting, and I'll share that experience with you. But anyway, sorry, the reptilians aren't I mean, I'm not saying, listen, every species has its bad guys and its good guys. I'm stating that the reptilians are getting a lot of the credit for doing a lot of the negativity on the earth that other ET races are actually engaging in, and they're the ones on the top tiers. I believe it's a group of insectoids that's actually taken over the planet and is ruling from the top. They have hives, but our ancestors are back, people, and all will be right. And if you're good to people and you're fair and balanced and you're coming from a place of love, you have nothing to worry about. If you're coming from another place, which was our original, listen, if you were coming from a place from evil, negativity, and hate, the previous regime was probably a place that you felt at home. But right now, if you're still coming from that place, you won't be able to survive here. You're going to feel uncomfortable if you're negative. You're going to feel uncomfortable if you hate people. You're going to feel uncomfortable if you're a racist. You're going to feel uncomfortable if you go around heinously eating and killing people and harming babies, okay? So I'm just letting you know, you're going to have to change up if you want to change with the planet, because we got the cleanup crew here, and they're called the Anunnaki. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of them. Anyway, oh, and I got a message from some of our ancestors. They actually left me a personal message. This is weird. I know I never say this, but because I broke the code, I made myself more receptive to get in contact with those others. And they stated that anything that was dormant, the ancestors were actually within us. Many of us were actually those ETs, and we had DNA inside of us that was dormant. And we had to get to a certain point for those dormant DNA codons to open up. And now they're open. So our ancestors, a lot of what's the cleanup crew is within us. A lot of the ETs that are here were already seated here, and they were us. So they wanted me to put that out, that they're here, and stay in the light and stay positive and try to engage in things that are in service to the planet as opposed to against it. Okay? Love and light. I love you. And you know I love you even if you hate me. I love you when you say that, I love it when you say that, you know, I talk too much. Listen, this is a video where I'm talking. If it bothers you, this is probably not a platform. I'm a chatter. And also, like I said, keep it positive and good, and we'll continue this conversation. But yay to the reptilians. I support those positive reptilians that are here, and I no longer will demonize them or support those that purely look at them as the only ones doing heinousness here. We got to give other people, the other species, responsibility for what nastiness has been occurring. And I believe, no, I know, it's a bunch of insectoids ruling in those upper tiers. So get your bug spray out, people. Let's start cleaning up shop. Anyway, love you. We'll talk again. I got to go. Peace. Fleur Brown.